The US military launched airstrikes in Iraq and Syria yesterday, hitting more than 85 Iranian targets. That's as President Joe Biden claims these strikes are just beginning as he faces what is considered to be the most dangerous days of his presidency. This all comes after a deadly drone attack in Jordan that killed 3 US troops and injured 40 others. Again, not good news from that area, is it? Joining me now is GB News senior political commentator Nigel Nelson to explain exactly what has happened and what it means, basically. Nigel, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Nigel, so we have more attacks. This is in retaliation for the death of the 3 serving American officers. Can you bring us up to date on what exactly is happening?
Yes, I mean, the Americans dropped 125 bombs yesterday, and what they're targeting is a group called the Islamic Resistance in Iraq, which is a kind of consortium of Iran-backed militias. They're the ones who claim responsibility for the attack that killed 3 American servicemen. They were a group that we don't know that much about them. As I say, it looks like it's a combination of groups, but they emerged late last year after the war in Gaza started. So everything is actually linked at the moment.
Unlike the Houthi strikes after they were attacking the ships in the Red Sea, this is just the Americans acting independently. We have no physical part of this, although we have backed the action.
Yes, that's right. Because it was American soldiers who were killed and not British ones, there's no reason why we should be directly involved here. I mean, the Americans have been fighting this kind of on-off war for ages, that they've got around 2,500 troops in the area. And the reason they're there is to try and stop a resurgence of Islamic State. They've been attacked a number of times over the last few months. I think it's about 160 attacks by these Iran-backed militias, and now that they've actually lost some soldiers, they're going to strike back. This won't be the last we see of it. There'll probably be more airstrikes over the coming days. The important thing is that they keep a sense of proportionality and not let this conflict escalate.
This is what leaders in the area, the Qatari PM in particular, has said, that this could spill over and undermine what little regional security there is in the area. How much of a danger do you think it is, Nigel, that this will escalate?
I think the biggest danger always is that things sort of take off by accident. At the moment, we're fighting sort of two major wars at the moment, one in Gaza, one in Ukraine. All it needs, for instance, is for some Russian contingent of Russian troops to cross over into a NATO country, and that would escalate there. So accidents do happen. That's why it's really important that the planning of these things is right and the warnings are given beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. And the National Security Council, John Kirby in America, said we don't want war with Iran. We don't want wider war in the region, but we've got to do what we've got to do. Very American phrasing there. What do you make of what he said about it?
Well, I think that neither side wants war. I mean, certainly Iran doesn't want a war either. They're pushing the envelope as far as they can go. But the last thing Iran wants is to end up like Iraq. So they know that if there was a full-scale conflict, they would end up losing it. But all sides lose on things like that. So I think, generally speaking, all sides don't want it to escalate, but there's always a danger it might.